Day one of documenting the journey. Welcome back, everyone. It's your boy. Um, Basically, I just want to go over the daily chart here of Nasdaq, and I want to see what price has been doing. And I'm going to be talking about the struggles that I've went through today as a trader, and how I plan on improving on them, and what habits right now are holding me back as a aspiring full-time entrepreneur. So yeah. So inside of here we have a trading range established, and if we look at this from here, honestly, I don't like this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on this one instead. Yeah, so we are in a trading range. This is the daily range high right here. This right here is the daily range low, and right here is equilibrium. And so we've been trading inside of this, and we got reaction off of the lowest internal liquidity. This right here would be my internal liquidity. Not this out here, because this wick I discount it as far as liquidity, but it does count for ranges. I don't get that from a made-believe story. I get that from ICT. So when you want to, get the actual full range, you include wicks. When you're looking at liquidity specifically, I just look at the lowest down closed body and the highest up closed body, and that's where all the liquidity exists, because that's where all the volume exists. So we're here. I saw that this was the lowest failure swing or internal liquidity point from this low to this high here, and they came there and they closed above it, and at 50% also they rallied higher again, creating a change in the state of delivery with this down close candle here. And then they also took liquidity on Wednesday of last week, and ever since they've been running higher. So I've been bullish, and all these small wicks here are all screaming liquidity for me as well. And then on top of this range, we have a SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. So I've been bullish as far as this run higher here. So today specifically, I was looking at the daily volume imbalance that exists right here, and so I'll do this real quick. So there's our daily volume imbalance, and we can do this here. There's our daily volume imbalance, and then I saw this wick here near this fair value gap, so let me draw out this fair value gap first. And as you guys can see, there's a fair value gap there, and this one is a daily fair value gap. I was also interested in seeing them go into the consequent encouragement of this wick right here. Remember that we are ICT students, so we cut through candles, and we don't try to limit ourselves to just recent price action, but we cut through these candles like so, and we go and put down that consequent encouragement, and then we get that. So this is what we get right now. Let me just put in this a lot closer. Cool. And so I was determined to see price reverse off of these key points here and scream higher due to the higher prices here. First and foremost, I want to see this equal high here being taken. That'd be lovely. And so we have buy side liquidity here, so keep in mind of that level going on towards the rest of the week. If we go down to the 4-hour, we have here a 2 down close candles here, which would be your order block here. And there goes the order block, which couples very nicely with that consequent encouragement wick. Also, we're inside of the daily fair value gap as well. We almost reached the discounted area of this daily fair value gap. We're also below the daily volume imbalance. We're on this 4-hour order block. We're also under this fair value gap as well. So we have a lot of factors to take us higher. Something I wish I would have done better today is been a little more aggressive, just because today is Monday. FOMC is this week, so they do plan on cutting the rates. That is good for us because cutting the rates means that dollar, as you guys know, seeks yields, and so dollar is supposedly correlated to NASDAQ, and a lot of headlines are saying that people are, shorting NASDAQ. A lot of people are willing to short NASDAQ. A lot of whale players, as people call it, they're saying that the headlines are pretty much bearish. So we obviously are independent thinkers and make our own educated guesses and don't abide by what the general public goes by. And so we stay away from headlines. If anything, we turn from them. And so they've been calling lower prices on NASDAQ, and we're going to do the complete opposite of that. It only makes sense because, of course, we have all this buy-side liquidity here. Order flow is bullish right now. They're going to cut the interest rates, meaning that dollar is going to seek lower prices. If dollar is supposedly correlated to NASDAQ, that means that NASDAQ is calling for higher prices on a fundamental level, on a higher time frame perspective, etc. And so one of the things I wish I would have done today was been a little more patient and not try to be aggressive in my entries. Just keep in mind, guys, I am trading live. So for me, it's a lot more realistic when I burn through my own personal money. So one of the things I wish I would have done was just to be a little more patient on the week. It was just Monday, so I didn't have to try to buy this here. Today I capped out at -75, and that is my daily limit for the day. I trade on the Tradeovate platform. No, I am not sponsored by Tradeovate, but I use it as a risk measure for myself, that if I am trading a relatively small account compared to these micros and the leverage that I have available to me, I started the personal live account with $1,000, and I'm currently right now, this is my paper trading account, so I'll log out of this one and I'll log into this. Well, I can't log into it, but I started the trading account with $1,000, and I don't really have a lot of access to leverage with this small live account. So for me, a micro, obviously it being $2 per point, it's kind of expensive, especially when my stop is getting hit. So I have to pick my shots very carefully, and I have to be very calculated as I'm taking these shots. So that is why I wish I was more patient. So as far as my rules, I followed my rules to the max. I wouldn't say to the max, but I followed my rules very well today. I would give myself a B for performance today. One of the things I wish I could have also done better, I have to get used to the idea that if I fail or if I get one setup wrong, if I get the trade idea wrong once, that I should just abandon it and go to the next one, and not try to put two positions on per position. So like, for example, if I draw up this trading idea here and I've gone long once and I've gone taken out, then I should just wait for a next trade idea or setup to form and not try to pouring all my ducks and all my eggs in that one trade idea. It's pretty much like trying to pour all your coins in one basket. And part of diversifying your portfolio as a professional trader is also diversifying your trade ideas. So if one trade idea doesn't work and you want to enter again, then it says something about your character flaw, which is your stubbornness to want to be correct. And that is what happened to me today. So I only entered two trade positions, and I capped out on my daily limit for $75. And I wasn't trying to rush the entries anyway. It's just that I got caught up in some manipulation, and I also put in a second trade entry on the same trade idea, which is not good in my personal opinion. I think I could be better with that as well. Today, I saw that all this was here, so I was expecting lower prices. So now that we have this here, I would like to just say that this 8 a.m. candle was the one that came down into the daily fair value gap. And so part of my job is to wait for the next candle to come into the PD array, because that would show me a lot more information as far as price action goes. And so I myself didn't wait for that. So, and it's just part of me as the human observer of just forgetting about these ideas. And I always journal this. This is one of my struggles for my rules. This is one of the rules that I always find myself having to remind myself of. And so this is the first candle, or the first hour, that goes into the PD array. And then this one is the second one. And part of my rule says that the second touch of the PD array is the candle that I should get into. And so we get here in the first touch, and me not recognizing that this was only the first hour. I wasn't cognizant of that. I entered a long position, and unfortunately I entered a long position within here. So I entered this bullish order block here, and I wanted for a price to go longer. And I entered this first one here when it came into the wick and this little small fair value gap. I entered long here, and it went higher. I was expecting them to take out the overnight session high and at least reach into the overnight session equilibrium. But instead of doing so, they went ahead and took price lower, as expected, now that I see it obviously after hindsight. Me entering during this hour and not waiting for another punch in into this order block and this consequent encouragement of the wick was the impatience of mine, I would say, although I waited all of this out to then enter this finally, because I wanted to see, them to really show me. And I thought, here initially they would show that this right here would mean for higher prices, because they were leaving these fair value gaps open. They weren't taking sell side liquidity. These moves were very quick, and based on that idea, I thought I would see price continue to scream higher, but instead they came down just as expected to take me out here. And so I got caught up here in this mess, and I entered both of my positions here. So the first one was here. I got stopped out here, and then I entered, I think it was off this bullish order block here, and then my stop was at this right here, the opening price of this order block, and then I got stopped out again, and then they took it higher, and then obviously didn't even get above this high here. They just screamed lower and took me out. So I was caught up in this mess here, and I think that one of the best things I could have done was just been a little more observant of this hour that punched into the P array. And so that is my fault, and I take full responsibility of that. And due to that, failing of looking over what hour we were in, as well as putting both my trade ideas on this one setup early in the week, there was a reason why I would have negative 75 on my account, and that makes sense. So I have to improve upon that, and I have journaled about that as of recently, and I journaled today as well, so I am more aware of that for next time. And so sell side liquidity was taken here, and they found a lot of support here off these levels here, but they couldn't find the means to take this higher during the morning session until we get to the lunch macro, and then they find themselves taking out this liquidity here, and then they drove price higher into this buy side liquidity here. But again, like I said, this right here is simply just Monday's price action. We still have a lot of things going on for the rest of the week, and I just want to say to myself is, when you get caught up in price action like this, don't be so quick to enter another position. Diversify your trade ideas, and don't put in all of your capital, physical capital and mental capital, into one trade idea. Consider it null and void once taken out, and let the trade idea pan out with or without you, even if it means that you were correct and it goes in your favor without you being in it. And maybe if I was a little more patient to see this trade play out, maybe I could have been part of this short here, as it was coming into this fair value gap here, and the order flow was showing bearishness, and also the fact that they would come below this low, it being the second hour of this PD array being touched. So the second touch was going to come anyways, and they still had this constant encouragement here, which was a gap, and this order block opening price. So I should have been a little more patient on that and maybe caught some positions going short here and calling it a day. But instead, that didn't happen. I put all my eggs in just, although it was only 2 trading positions, my rule says that I'm allowed to trade 3 per day max. But although this right here was looking nice to me, and I was putting all my trust into this fair value gap, I still missed out on the idea that it has to be the second touch for the Peter Ray. I overlooked that idea, and it was mainly because overnight session low was taken, and all this order flow was showing its bullish signatures. And as soon as 10 a.m. opens, although here it says 9 a.m., this is Chicago time that I'm on. CME operates off of Chicago or anything that is -5, so I'm not going by New York, but I'm going off CME. When daylight savings goes away, then New York will be at -5, and we will change to -5 because that is the central time that the Chicago Mercantile Exchange goes by. So this is the overnight session here, and then of course we are wanting to see price go higher, but I entered here 2 times, so I wish I would have done that better, and as well as not oversee this hour. Before we go and leave here, I want to just point out the Forex Factory and what's going on this week, and my plans going forward for this week, and what I want to see. So we'll filter this out, do none here, USD, and we will stop here with the yellow ones. I can care less about the yellow filters. And so we have here let me just make this full screen. We have this here as news tomorrow, which is the core retail sales, and then we have FOMC on Wednesday, so 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Honestly, I don't even feel like trading tomorrow, nor during Wednesday. Possibly just because most of the time I see that FOMC after 2:30 is when the week starts to really move in favorable conditions. Doesn't mean that I'm going to trade right after FOMC, but it just means that I'd rather just have Thursday and Friday as the days that I want to trade. and next week we have PMI. So I think it would make sense for us to run liquidity during Thursday and Friday, and actually have some really great setups during Thursday and Friday. So I'm going to try my best tomorrow to not entertain any idea. In the event that I do, it'll be with reason and due to the fact that there is a setup available to me in the market. And so whatever the market is willing to offer, I'm willing to take. But also, I don't want to overstep with my capital this week just because it is FOMC week, and the probability is more geared towards the end of the week and not the first half of the week. And so, if I can point something out to myself, is that continue to persevere and don't allow days where you hit your daily limit or you lock yourself out of your account be the days that you consider quitting. If not, just use them as fuel to continue forward. And so, those were some of my weak points today, and you guys saw my foresight for the week, and hopefully this was insightful to those. And if there's anything that you guys need me to break down or want me to go over, just let me know. In the meantime, hit that like button and subscribe button and leave a comment. Have a great day, guys. Hope you guys have a great trading week, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya. Peace.